next, you're going to meet another very important individual who actually holds a very, very, very special place in my heart. I would love to say this before you start your speech. So usually when you hear Paul Mitchel at school, you automatically think cosmetologist, you automatically think hair. It's our brand, it's our breath, it's what we do. But some schools have a tiny little cherry on top. And our school absolutely is one of those schools. We have an esthetician program. Remember I told you I was one of the best teachers in the city? Not lying. So, today I have the honor to introduce your salutatorian, who happens to be an esthetician. Very cool. Also happens to be the very first time an esthetician has been honored with this title. So that's really, really a big victory. So without any more of me taking up this space, I would like to introduce to you our salutatorian, Auburne Deaton.
Mama proud.
Fourscore and 7 years. Everybody okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, students, family and friends, and staff. I would like to thank you all for being in attendance to support this graduating class as we each embark on a new thrilling chapter in our lives. Each one of you has provided unrelenting and unapologetic support. Quick shout out to my mother and pops for figuratively and literally driving my career. They drove me to school every single day. Back to the general public. We students thank you for being reinforcements in times of uncertainty and hardship, but also in times of celebration, as you have acknowledged our milestones, achievements, and newly acquired skill sets. Our appreciation for this support knows no bounds, and we are all grateful for your continued presence in our lives. I'm a methodical person, so I'd like to begin in a calendar-like fashion to reflect on the day that marked one of the most compelling moments of my Paul Mitchel career, my school tour. As I strolled into the building with my side, my impression went as follows. The ambiance was infectious. The funky music, future professionals working attentively on their dull heads, learning leaders conducting seminars right there on the service floor, to the beaming admissions counselor that soothed any apprehension I felt. The contrast between the two floors was immediate. The loud and busy cosmetology level vanished and transitioned into one of serenity and quiet as my tour progressed to the second floor. My tour led into the spa classroom where I saw students incorporating their secret ingredients into bowls and customizing concoctions for their clients. And at that moment I realized I too would like to become a mad scientist. I had an existing inclination towards skincare, but the tranquil environment coupled with its feature of careful science was enough to convince me. This was my niche. I was hooked a mere 5 minutes into my tour. I knew this was a place that would exceed my education expectations and facilitate my growth as a future professional. Paul Mitchel's environment and conduct deviates from any standard school environment I've come to know, and that's what separates Paul Mitchel schools from his counterparts. Paul Mitchel is unconventional in its practices and education techniques, even down to the most minute detail like designating homework as home play. And that is why it has been successful. It has been so successful in accommodating the unconventional student. Every learning leader at Paul Mitchel in some way or another, or in all ways, were instrumental in our development as future professionals. We have the best learning leaders in the industry at our disposal. They are entrusted with the task of taking every single one of us under their impressive wings and imparting all of their boundless knowledge to us, and then some. We chose our trades, cosmetologists and estheticians, and were able to work intimately under an apprenticeship, if you will, amongst our learning leaders. These leaders celebrated and honed our strengths while deconstructing our weaknesses. Not one stone was left unturned, question left unanswered, or blackhead left unsqueezed. This school ensures that students receive the best innovative education that learning leaders have to offer. Our learning leaders are received as not only reservoirs of knowledge, but as counselors and close friends, advisors, and confidants. The relationship cultivated between learning leaders and students is by no means restricted to the narrow and rigid student-teacher dynamic you find in almost all school settings. Paul Mitchel sets no reservations or limitations with its student body and learning leaders, and it creates a warm, familial environment for both student and teacher to thrive synergistically. And that's a word I learned. On the subject of Angela, that wonderful woman, like I said, she is brilliant. I would like to acknowledge her infinite knowledge and grace in conducting her classroom and for employing tough love when necessary. And a huge thank you to Miss Carissa Nava, whose snarky tendencies mixed well with her genius. And on behalf of the student body, I'd like to thank all learning leaders whose names I would butcher if I even begin to try to list them all. Thank you for your warm smiles and bouncy personalities, for your wisdom and scholarliness, and for undertaking the enormous task of instructing such a large body of students on a day-to-day basis. You are the conduits through which inspiration and energy are channeled. You're all electrifying. As I stand here today, facing many faces, I'd like to talk about facings. For those unfamiliar with the term, and pardon my being redundant, facings are a designated time in our weekly powwows or meetings to acknowledge an individual whose actions, achievements, and milestones deserve recognition. It is essentially a time to brag about your classmates or learning leaders about what awesome thing they did the week before. With such a talented body of students, you can only imagine how long this segment of the meeting took. Very long. As lengthy as they can be, their length is a testament to the talent, positivity, and appreciation that radiates from the student body. With facings, words of encouragement and support are often exchanged, sometimes resulting in emotionally charged compliments or anecdotes that detail inconveniences or disasters with friends, only to be rectified by a helpful hand. Many a tear were shed, and you'd think this was Paul Mitchel's very own support group, emotional support group. And in a way, these facings were a sort of communal feeling that left everyone in good spirits and set the tone for the remainder of the week. This is one of the great unorthodox practices unique to Paul Mitchel schools that I am happy to have been a witness to. So today, I am facing the student body and encourage you to remain confident and poised in your chosen profession. There is a lingering bias against this industry that this is just beauty school. We are not just anybody. We are makeup artists, hairstylists, hairdressers, barbers, skin therapists, and pimple poppers. And guess what? This industry will not go anywhere. We even did well during the Great Depression. The Great Recession. So get on the winning team. We are components of an incredible industry where trends are malleable and consistently change, which provides a substantial platform for innovation and creativity. Possibilities are endless with a public with an insatiable need for transformation. We are innovators, artists, and professionals, as well as bountiful sources of comfort and support. In an industry whose fundamental principle is to cater to a demographic who could use an extra kick in their step, we are that support. We are the cushion to the comfort of our clients in their appearances and esteem. We are the nourishment to troubled skin and energizers of deflated hair. So shout out to cosmetologists because I can barely put this little bun up today. Y'all are incredible. closing, I would like to congratulate all of you as we make the transition from future professional to professional. Your presence here this evening, as you sit amongst treasured friends and family, is a testament to months and months of hard work, long hours, and perseverance. Allow the camaraderie you develop with your peers and your teachers to propel you and each other forward in your careers. Advocate and champion each other in the industry. And remember, the pinnacle of your career is not your license. Your work doesn't stop there. Your education and training does not end after today. There will never be a stagnant period in your life if you all validate yourselves by the reminder that creativity has no limits or margins in which you can conduct yourself. Remain committed to continued education and live by the conviction that as long as you are an affiliate of this industry, you never really stop being a student. You never really stop being curious. So don't stop. Thank you.
All right, Auburn! Auburn!
I'm back. I thought, look, I got to keep the box. Woo.